Hi, I'm Bob the Hollow, and this is the extra lore for Divinity Unbound, the video about the Divine Dragon. We'll be talking about a few things I had to leave out of the main video, so let's get right to it. We know the Divine Palace has closed itself to the rest of the world, but there's no clear in-game indication of why. Well, if I'm right about Tomoe fighting the Divine Dragon, then I'd say that a crazy-ass, lightning-wielding, open-gate-swinging farmer Okami cutting off arms and ripping out hearts sounds like a pretty good candidate for the reason why they'd have shut themselves away, right? I mean, right? Okay, so this was a very tiny detail that I found very interesting somehow. I don't know if there are any more of this, but this is the only one I've noticed so far. Its presence in Ashina Castle kinda makes sense, like Ishin himself alludes to the worship of the Fountainhead waters, and Takeru and Tomoe used to live here, so it's not strange that they'd have heard about the dragon. I don't think they worship the Divine Dragon himself, just the idea of a dragon deity that resides in the divine realm from where the Fountainhead waters flow. It sounds more reasonable and, it's just a tiny shrine. The in-game item gives you actual magic-like powers. It grants you protection from actual fucking lightning bolts. That doesn't sound like the regular type of eel that I can buy from the restaurant down the street. Plus, the only eels I found in-game are the Okami warriors, so are these levers from dead Okami? Also, I'd like to take this opportunity to make an official statement saying that I most utterly detest the taste of liver. You wanna see Bob get mad? You feed him liver. Okay, moving on. So, again, if I'm right about Tomoe fighting the Divine Dragon, then how did she even get there? Well, the palanquin seems like the only way into the palace, right? So I figure maybe she'd have disguised herself as a bride and arrived at the bridal chambers and then cut her way through the nobles in order to reach the dragon, but why are the nobles eating the Okami? I'm not sure, but I figured maybe those Okami helped Tomoe, she being an Okami herself, and the nobles fought them. I mean, the nobles are no match for the Okami warriors, but these Okami are not dressed/armed like warriors, so it could have been an even match. They were made feral somehow, which also explains why they don't just leave that room, seeing that the door is locked from the inside. Either that or they don't leave just because they like the taste of dead Okami meat, but regardless, if they fought the Okami, then they would have drained their vitality, and their present state is either a side effect of consuming something they shouldn't have, kinda like food poisoning, or they developed a hunger for it that cannot be controlled. As I have pointed out in the main video, the Okami have white hair strands like wolf, but the Okami leader has a full body of white hair. It looks like the white hair might be a symptom that also shows how deep their connection to the Divine Dragon goes. It stands to reason that the one that is closest to the dragon would be their leader, right? Either that or it's an aesthetic choice. I won't shame. I've been advocating that the rejuvenating waters and the Fountainhead waters are two different things, despite a seeming consensus to the contrary. I mean, they are called by two different names in two different contexts, so... But then one of the viewers pointed out to me that the Fragrant Flower note mentioned the waters of rejuvenation in the same context of the Fountainhead waters, saying that the lotus grows in a place where the waters of rejuvenation converge in a deep pool. Honestly, that was a very solid argument, and it probably would have broken my theory, but, fortunately, that was just a mistranslation. The original description of the note mentions the Fountainhead waters, not the rejuvenating one. Like I said in the previous video, Tomoe acquired the Black Blade and used it to kill Takeru. And while their graves are indication enough that both have died, they don't necessarily mean she killed him with a mortal blade. So, in hindsight, I should have mentioned that the dragon's blood droplets are undeniable proof of that fact. They're not coming from Kuro, so they can only have come from Takeru. And if Takeru bled, then Tomoe must have gotten the mortal blade. There's no other way to bleed him, and no one else to do it. Speaking of the Black Mortal Blade, in the main video I proposed a connection between Tomoe and the Black Blade, and there's one very explicit thing that binds them: Tomoe's motherhood and the Black Blade's power to create life. Okay, cool, that's a very solid thematic connection, but it does have some very unsettling implications when you think about it. Like, if you look at the cutscene preceding Sword Saint Ishin through the lens of this team, then, well, and I'm sorry for this, but Genichiro just lost his neck virginity to a phallic symbol, bled all over the place, then birthed his own grandfather through his gaping neck vagina. And, just in case it wasn't clear enough, Open Gate is an analogy for cunt.
Sakura, Sakura, 弥生の空は見渡す限り